Catherine will speak on my behalf. Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking our intervention in the Epstein matter, but, like Andrew, she must face her own consequences. The Crown cannot shield her. If press or authorities inquire, Catherine will address it.
Rain lashed against Buckingham Palace, turning the night into a stormy, almost cinematic backdrop for what was about to unfold. In late October 2025, King Charles III sat alone in his private study. The room was dimly lit by a single lamp casting long shadows across antique bookshelves and portraits of past monarchs. Outside, thunder rolled across London, echoing the turbulence that had haunted the king's mind for months. Whispers had been circulating about long-buried scandals resurfacing, dragging the royal family's name through connections that could no longer be ignored. But tonight, something finally broke. Charles, normally composed and measured in public, felt frustration surge through him like a wave he couldn't contain. He reached for a camera setup, typically reserved for official addresses, and began recording a message that would send shockwaves across the family and far beyond the gilded walls of the palace. This was no polished, scripted speech drafted by aides. It was raw, it was direct, and it was aimed squarely at his daughter-in-law, Meghan Markle. As the red recording light blinked, Charles's voice carried an edge rarely heard from a sovereign. He spoke of boundaries, consequences, and the urgent need to draw a line. What exactly did he say? And why now? The answers are buried in a tangled web of letters, scandals, and shifting family dynamics that had been simmering for years. The king's decision to record this video came after a flood of private correspondence that had steadily escalated tensions. Sources close to the palace reveal Meghan had been writing repeatedly, seeking clarity or perhaps intervention regarding matters under public scrutiny. These were no casual notes, they were formal, pointed letters expressing concerns about how certain associations were being handled in the media. Burdened by his own brother's scandal, Charles saw a tipping point. He had already acted decisively against Prince Andrew, stripping him of his titles and evicting him from royal residences in October 2025, a move officially announced by Buckingham Palace. Many praised it as a necessary step to protect the monarchy from controversy. Now, with Meghan's name appearing tangentially in the same discussions, Charles felt compelled to act. And fragments of the video, which leaked online shortly after, revealed a monarch determined to protect the crown at all costs. He made it clear that the crown could not intervene in personal, legal, or media battles, drawing an unmistakable parallel to Andrew's situation. But the most unexpected move was his delegation of authority to Catherine, Princess of Wales, to speak on such matters, a choice signalling a major shift in how the family would handle crises, placing trust in Catherine's steady, trusted public image. As the recording progressed, Charles's tone grew firmer. He addressed Meghan directly, urging her to step back and let the palace's designated representative manage inquiries. This wasn't about a single issue. It reflected deeper, long-standing frustrations within the family. The Sussexes' decision to step away from royal duties had created rifts, and now, with external pressures mounting, Charles sought to unify the family's response under a more traditional banner. The storm outside mirrored the one within. As aides later described, the king paced his study after recording, contemplating the fallout. Little did he know this message would ignite fierce debates about loyalty, power, and the future of the monarchy. To understand why Charles acted, we must look at the scandal that set this in motion. The Epstein affair had haunted high-profile figures for over a decade, resurfacing in waves with each new document, release, or testimony. Jeffrey Epstein, the notorious financier whose network spanned celebrities, politicians, and royals, became a symbol of unchecked influence in the royal context. Prince Andrew drew the most scrutiny, leading to his withdrawal from public duties in 2019, and his eventual title removal in 2025 after Charles ascended the throne. Amid these echoes, Charles navigated the fallout carefully, issuing statements emphasizing accountability without direct involvement. But in recent months, attention turned to other tangential mentions, including Meghan Markle. Court documents from Epstein's cases, unsealed in early 2024, referenced her name in passing. Witnesses like Johannes Berg recalled Epstein boasting about knowing various celebrities, including the Duchess of Sussex, though no evidence suggested direct meetings or involvement. Media amplification of these claims placed Meghan in an uncomfortable spotlight, prompting her to seek palace guidance. Charles's video drew explicit parallels to Andrew's case, stating that individuals must face their own consequences without royal shielding. This stance aligned with his actions toward his brother. He had already initiated processes to remove titles and honours where necessary. Reports indicate that Meghan's letters to Charles, beginning as early as 2023, initially focused on other family matters, such as unconscious bias, but eventually evolved to include concerns over media coverage of Epstein-related rumours. By 2025, with fresh emails and testimonies emerging, the pressure intensified. Charles, who had publicly heckled Andrew's ties during a 2012 visit to Lichfield, had grown weary of the family name being dragged through repeated controversies. This backdrop set the stage for the video. Charles, known for environmental advocacy and measured diplomacy, rarely displayed anger publicly, but insiders describe a long build-up of exasperation, fueled by the monarchy's need to modernise while preserving dignity. Delegating authority to Catherine was a strategic move, recognising her effectiveness in sensitive communications. Since her marriage in 2011, Catherine had handled delicate announcements, like her 2024 cancer diagnosis video, with global poise. By centralising responses through her, Charles aimed to prevent fragmented family statements while empowering someone trusted to navigate public scrutiny. Meghan's independent approach clashed with palace protocol. Unified front correspondence has long been a royal tool, but modern leaks make it risky. Meghan's letters to Charles began after her 2021 Oprah interview, where she raised concerns about unconscious bias. By April 2023, reports confirmed she had sought clarification on how these matters were addressed. Charles responded with letters of his own, emphasising family unity. Their exchanges, detailed in OMI Scobie's 2023 book Endgame, reveal a monarch grappling with generational divides as Epstein documents resurfaced in 2024 and 2025. Sources suggest Meghan sought guidance on handling media inquiries about perceived links, fearing reputational damage. Ghislaine Maxwell's prison claims in 2025, alleging knowledge of Meghan's Hollywood past, added fuel, though unsubstantiated. Meghan, living in California, viewed these as baseless attacks and requested intervention. Charles, recalling parallels to Andrew's appeals, rejected any royal shielding. His video urged Meghan to surrender matters to independent handling. The back-and-forth letters highlighted the family's communication challenges. Meghan's directness contrasted sharply with traditional royal restraint. Delegation to Catherine reflected a preference for her empathetic, strategic style, seen in initiatives like the Forward Trust patronage. Once leaked, the video sparked questions about privacy and power dynamics. Amid Buckingham Palace's opulent but sombre halls, Charles appeared stern, the soft glow of desk lamps highlighting years of fatigue etched into his face. Seated at a historic oak desk, cluttered with state papers and family photographs, he addressed the camera with uncharacteristic candour. "Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking our intervention in the Epstein matter," he said, voice steady yet laced with unmistakable irritation. Delivered with the precision of a seasoned diplomat pushed to the limit, he added, "But, like Andrew, she must face her own consequences. The Crown cannot shield her. If authorities or the press inquire, Catherine will address it." He paused, piercing the camera with his gaze. "Catherine will speak on my behalf." Highly unusual for a monarch who typically communicates through official channels or prepared speeches, the video reflected a breaking point after months of internal deliberations and mounting family pressure. Insiders say it was initially meant for a small circle of advisors, but eventually leaked, revealing palpable anger. A stark departure from Charles's normally calm public persona, honed over decades of service and personal health struggles. Just weeks after stripping Andrew of his titles, Charles drew a firm boundary. Personal matters must remain separate from the crown. A standard Charles has enforced relentlessly to protect the monarchy's reputation became the centre of a storm. This principle was no coincidence. It echoed his public heckling during a visit to Lichfield in October 2025, when a protester confronted him about Andrew's associations. The king used the moment to reaffirm his firm stance on non-interference, making it clear where he stood. Empowering Catherine, Princess of Wales, to handle related inquiries was both strategic and pragmatic. Her proven track record in public relations, including her deft handling of the 2024 photo editing controversies, showcased her ability to navigate media storms with transparency and poise, bolstering the monarchy's credibility at a time when public trust in institutions was fragile. More recently, on November 22nd, Catherine delivered her first major public speech since her cancer diagnosis. Speaking to business leaders at the Future Workforce Summit, she shared a powerful message about prioritizing love, time, and tenderness alongside professional success. Her words resonated worldwide, highlighting her empathetic communication style and ability to inspire confidence even under intense scrutiny. The video leak, likely originating from palace channels or unauthorized digital sharing, magnified its impact far beyond the intended audience. It not only revealed Charles's broader strategy to consolidate authority and streamline the family's crisis responses, but also exposed underlying vulnerabilities in royal relations. Media outlets and public commentators analysed the leak extensively, noting how it positioned Catherine as a central figure in the monarchy's modern face and potentially signalled a generational shift in crisis management. Yet questions lingered about whether such firm lines could be maintained, especially as sensational claims linking distant family members to old scandals kept surfacing in 2025. Unsubstantiated allegations from figures like Ghislaine Maxwell regarding Hollywood connections added fuel to ongoing speculation. In essence, the recording encapsulated Charles's determination to protect the crown's integrity, even if it meant confronting uncomfortable family dynamics head-on. Catherine has steadily evolved into a pivotal communicator and stabilizing force within the monarchy, particularly during King Charles's reign. Her 2024 video addressing her health challenges set a new tone of transparency and empathy, modernizing how the royal family engages with the public and humanizing the institution during personal trials. This approach garnered widespread support and set a precedent for handling sensitive matters with grace, contrasting with more traditional, reserved royal communications. Charles's decision to delegate Epstein-related inquiries to Catherine underscores the profound trust he places in her judgment and diplomacy. She acts as a trusted intermediary, shielding the king from direct involvement while navigating the family's most delicate controversies. Catherine's background prepared her for these responsibilities. Born Catherine Middleton in 1982, she earned an art history degree at the University of St Andrews, where she met Prince William and developed a partnership rooted in shared intellectual pursuits. Her pre-royal life, volunteering in Chile during a gap year and studying in Italy, instilled resilience and a global perspective. Since assuming her royal role, she has championed numerous charities, including the Royal Foundation, with initiatives like Shaping Us, launched in 2023 to promote mental health and family support. Her patronages extend to organisations like the Anna Freud Centre for Mental Health and Place 2B, where she advocates for children's well-being and frequently visits schools and hospitals, adding a personal touch. These efforts cement her as a vital bridge between royal traditions and the demands of a modern, scrutiny-heavy world, particularly amid recent speculation about family scandals. Catherine has maintained a dignified silence, channeling energy into high-profile engagements. For example, her appearance at the 2025 Royal Variety performance alongside Prince William showcased her poise while subtly debuting a new conjugal coat of arms symbolising their unified front. Reports suggest she has been instrumental in enforcing a zero-tolerance policy toward Prince Andrew's scandals, actively supporting King Charles in protecting the monarchy's integrity and future. Her comeback after health setbacks has been credited with boosting the family's image, particularly following Andrew-related turmoil. She has delivered speeches to business leaders and participated in events that reaffirm the monarchy's relevance in modern society. Furthermore, her protective stance is evident in managing communications, including reportedly blocking certain outreach from the Sussexes in 2025, underscoring her commitment to safeguarding the core family and allowing Charles to focus on broader priorities like environmental advocacy and diplomacy. Royal experts note that Charles sees her as a modern future queen, capable of connecting with younger generations and embodying the evolving monarchy. This strategic positioning enhances her influence while preparing her for a greater role when William ascends, ensuring she can serve as queen consort with a blend of compassion, professionalism, and forward-thinking vision. The release of Charles's video message triggered a cascade of reactions within the royal family, exposing long-simmering divisions and prompting introspection about loyalty and legacy. Prince William, as heir apparent, offered quiet but unwavering support for his father's decisive stance, viewing it as a necessary measure to safeguard the monarchy amid ongoing scandals. Sources close to him indicate his alignment stems from years of frustration with family members whose actions invited public scrutiny, particularly his uncle Andrew's ties to Epstein, which William reportedly regarded with deep disdain. William's support also reflects his broader efforts to stabilize the institution. Tensions with his brother Harry and sister-in-law Meghan lingered since their 2020 exit from senior royal duties. Public revelations through books, interviews and documentaries only deepened these rifts, with William prioritizing the core family's unity over reconciliation attempts. Thrust into the spotlight as the designated spokesperson, Catherine approached her new role with readiness, tempered by caution. Known for emphasizing family harmony and mental health advocacy, she has expressed a desire to handle inquiries with empathy, aiming to de-escalate rather than inflame situations. Her approach prioritizes preserving peace within the palace while navigating the complexities of speaking on behalf of the crown in sensitive matters, positioning her as a stabilizing force and highlighting her growing influence in crisis management. Meghan's team perceived the video as a stark rebuff, amplifying feelings of isolation. Insiders voiced profound disappointment, interpreting Charles's refusal to intervene as a continuation of the family's pattern of non-support during media storms. Catherine's empowerment reinforced narratives favouring those remaining within the traditional royal structure. Reports suggest Meghan may further distance herself from extended family members like Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice, whose fathers' Epstein associations cast a long shadow in the American public eye. Prince Harry has largely remained silent, though past memoir references to Andrew's scandal indicate his awareness of how such controversies affect family dynamics and security at Buckingham Palace. The video sparked intense internal debates among aides and senior royals about communication strategy in an era of rapid leaks and social media amplification. Some praised Charles's firmness as a bold step toward accountability, preventing the monarchy from becoming entangled in personal controversies. Others feared it could deepen perceptions of division, calling for a more conciliatory approach. These discussions highlighted anxieties about family cohesion amid the Epstein shadow, balancing transparency with privacy. Ultimately, the turmoil underscores the delicate balance between personal loyalties and institutional survival in a modern monarchy under relentless scrutiny. The leak of Charles's video triggered a global media frenzy, with headlines like "King Charles draws line on scandals," "Meghan in crosshairs," and "Royal rift deepens as Charles delegates to Catherine amid Epstein echoes," dominating coverage and fueling ongoing debate about the monarchy's unity and future. These stories didn't just question the family's unity. They reignited old tensions, echoing the Sussexes' dramatic 2020 exit and ongoing public spats. Public opinion remained sharply divided. A YouGov survey from October 2025 showed that while 79% of Britons backed Charles's firm stance on accountability in cases like Prince Andrew's, a notable 20% felt such interventions were overly harsh, potentially alienating younger audiences. The remaining 1% were undecided, reflecting a public grappling with the tension between tradition and modern expectations. Critics warned that the king's angry tone risked painting the monarchy as vindictive rather than impartial, fueling accusations of favouritism within the family. Social media exploded with debates, trending hashtags like #HatchRoyalAccountability and #Meghan Epstein worldwide. Users dissected Meghan's peripheral mentions in Epstein documents, often amplifying tabloid-fueled rumors and commentary from conspiracy theorists. Legal experts repeatedly dismissed any substantive connections, emphasizing that her name appeared only in passing boasts by Epstein, with zero evidence of involvement. Supporters of Meghan called out the double standard, highlighting the unfair scrutiny compared to other royals and pointing to the media's long-standing fascination with sensationalized stories rather than verified facts. Meanwhile, Charles's defenders praised his no-shield policy as a necessary modernizing step. Online buzz spread across Reddit, Instagram, and Twitter threads, analysing body language in the video, the tone of his speech, and subtle pauses that hinted at deeper familial strains. Many focused on Catherine's emerging role in handling inquiries, noting her proven crisis management. From her poised 2024 health update to patronages like the Forward Trust, where her communications emphasised formal responsibility and careful diplomacy. Analysts argued that this moment highlighted the monarchy's shift toward empathy-driven leadership rather than rigid tradition, signalling a new era in royal messaging. Catherine has become synonymous with empathetic yet authoritative royal messaging. Analysts highlighted her appearances at events like the 2025 Royal Variety Performance, where her composed demeanour reinforced public trust and projected stability. This incident reignited broader discussions about the monarchy's relevance, with Ipsos polls from November 2025 showing declining youth support. Only 47% believed the institution benefited the country, down from previous years. Commentators warned that mishandling scandals like these could accelerate calls for reform, placing even more pressure on palace communications to maintain a balance between tradition and transparency. This episode represents a watershed moment for the royal family, underlining the importance of clear boundaries and strategic delegation in an era of relentless scrutiny. King Charles's video, despite its controversial tone, reinforces the Crown's policy of non-intervention in personal controversies, a principle mirrored in his handling of Andrew's title revocation earlier in 2025, widely viewed as a bid to restore institutional integrity and public confidence. By empowering Catherine to manage responses, Charles signals a shift toward a more collaborative leadership model, potentially expanding her influence in shaping future communications, public engagements, and proactive crisis resolution. Her role may evolve to include more strategic planning around the monarchy's public image, building on successes like her leadership at the 2025 Future Workforce Summit and Armistice Day tributes, as well as her consistent advocacy for mental health initiatives and youth programs. For Meghan, the message underscored her independence from palace support, nudging her further towards self-reliant advocacy through initiatives like Archewell, while highlighting the difficulties of maintaining influence and visibility outside traditional royal channels. As the monarchy charts its course through these turbulent times, fostering internal unity emerges as crucial for weathering external pressures and maintaining credibility in the eyes of the public and global observers. Recent polling reflects this balancing act. YouGov's October 2025 tracker showed Charles's approval inching up to 62%, suggesting decisive action can strengthen public perception, though 29% still view him negatively. Ipsos data from November 2025 found 90% support for specific reforms like Andrew's demotion, indicating broader acceptance of modernization efforts and a public appetite for accountability at the highest levels. Yet generational divides persist. Statista reports that only around 40% of under 30s favour keeping the monarchy, compared to over 80% of seniors. The video's legacy could forge a stronger, more resilient institution by prioritising transparency and accountability, or deepen divisions if perceived as exclusionary. Experts like royal biographer Andrew Loney note that moments like this test the monarchy's adaptability in an era of constant media scrutiny, showing how public perception can influence internal decision-making at the highest levels. History shows that scandals often prompt reform, and time will reveal the full impact of Charles's unprecedented move. For now, it exemplifies the delicate balancing act required to merge centuries-old tradition with contemporary demands for accountability, transparency, and savvy media governance. Future strategies may include enhanced public engagement, carefully timed announcements, and further delegation of sensitive communications to trusted figures like Catherine, ensuring that the monarchy maintains relevance and credibility in a rapidly changing Britain. Ultimately, the episode demonstrates the intricate dance between loyalty, power, and public perception. How the family navigates these challenges will define Charles's reign and the monarchy's legacy. As these stories unfold and debates rage online and offline, one thing remains clear: the monarchy is evolving under intense pressure, and the stakes for every decision have never been higher. If you found this inside look at palace dynamics fascinating, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for the latest royal updates, share with anyone obsessed with palace drama, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is really calling the shots behind the scenes?